Hello and welcome to the Learn English Lab. Today we're doing a deep dive into English conversation.
Yeah.
Specifically, we're going to be looking at over 100 English conversation questions and answers that we found. And we've got Sarah here with us to break it all down.
Hi.
Now, Sarah, I know you've got a real knack for making even the trickiest language stuff easy to understand.
Oh, well, I try.
So I'm excited to dive into this with you.
Me too.
All right, so let's get started. I think the best place to begin is with the basics. You know how to introduce yourself.
Oh.
It seems simple enough, but I bet you've seen people get flustered when trying to introduce themselves in English.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All the time. Actually, it's something that a lot of learners struggle with, but it's so important. You know, a good introduction can really make a difference.
It sets the tone, right?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it can help you feel more confident and connected with the person you're talking to.
Okay, so let's break it down. What are the key elements of a solid introduction?
Well, you want to start with the essentials,
Yeah.
right? Your name, where you're from, and maybe what you do.
Yeah, the classic, what's your name, where you from, what do you do kind of thing.
Exactly. Those are the building blocks. And you can add a little bit more flavor. You know, a fun fact about yourself or something interesting about your background.
Like I have a pet parrot,
Mm-hmm.
or I've traveled to 20 different countries, something like that.
Yeah, something to spark a conversation. And it's interesting how these introductions can change depending on where you are in the world.
Oh yeah, for sure. Culture plays a huge role.
Definitely. For instance, in some cultures, it's totally normal to talk about your family right away when you meet someone new. But in other cultures, that might seem too personal.
Right, it's all about being mindful of those cultural differences.
Exactly. It shows respect and helps you avoid any awkward misunderstandings.
So once you've nailed the introduction, what's next? What are some other topics that come up in casual conversation?
Well, think about your daily life, right? You can talk about your routine, what you do every day.
Yeah, things like when you wake up, what you have for breakfast, how you get to work or school.
Precisely. It might seem mundane, but these everyday topics are actually a great way to practice your English.
They give you a chance to use all those common phrases and verbs.
Right. And you can start building your vocabulary around specific activities. Like if you talk about your morning commute, you might use words like subway or traffic or podcast.
And it's a chance to get creative with your language.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just saying, I go to work, you could say, I brave the rush hour crowds every morning, or I love listening to podcasts on my way to work.
Yeah, exactly. Make it interesting. Add some details.
Yeah.
Paint a picture with your words.
And speaking of things that make life interesting, let's talk about hobbies.
What?
What are some good ways to talk about your hobbies in English?
Yeah, hobbies are a goldmine for conversation. Everyone has something they're passionate about.
Yeah, so you can ask questions like, what do you do in your free time? Do you play any sports? What kind of music are you into?
Yeah, those are great. And when you're answering these questions, don't just give one-word answers. You know, try to elaborate a little.
Right. Instead of just saying, I like to read,
Yeah.
you could say, I love getting lost in a good novel. It's a great way to relax and escape from reality, or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Show your enthusiasm. Let your personality shine through.
Because that's what makes conversations fun,
Yeah.
right? Getting to know the person you're talking to and discovering what makes them tick.
Absolutely. And you know what? Another great way to connect with people is
What's that?
food.
Oh, yeah. Food is always a good topic.
It's a universal language. Everyone loves to eat.
And it's a great way to learn about different cultures.
Yeah, you can ask questions like, what's your favorite food? What's your go-to comfort food? Have you ever tried any unusual dishes?
And don't forget about table manners. It's always good to be aware of the customs in different cultures.
Definitely.
Yeah.
In some cultures, it's considered rude to start eating before everyone else has been served, for example.
Right. It's all about being respectful and understanding the norms.
Exactly. Food can be a delicious way to connect with people and broaden your horizons.
Okay, so we've talked about introductions, daily routines, hobbies, and food.
Yeah.
What other topics should we cover?
Well, how about travel?
Oh yeah, travel's always a great conversation starter. Everyone loves to hear about new places and experiences.
Yeah, you can ask questions like, have you traveled much? Where have you been? Where would you like to go?
And don't forget about the why. You know, ask people why they chose to travel to certain places or what they enjoyed most about their trip.
Exactly. Because it's not just about the destinations. It's about the experiences and the memories you create.
And speaking of memories, you can also talk about your favorite places to visit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Whether it's a bustling city, a quiet beach, or a cozy mountain cabin, everyone has a special place that holds a dear place in their heart.
And it's fun to hear about what makes those places so special. You know, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the people.
Right. It's all about painting a vivid picture with your words and transporting the listener to that place.
So we've covered quite a bit already, but there's still so much more to explore in the world of English conversation.
Oh yeah, we've only scratched the surface.
We've got a whole bunch of other topics lined up, from work and studies to technology and social media.
It's going to be a fun ride.
So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after a quick break.
Okay, so let's jump into some of these other categories. I thought we could pick a few interesting questions from each one and see where the conversation takes us.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So let's start with work and studies. How about this one? What was your first job?
Oh, that's a good one. It takes you back, doesn't it?
Yeah. It can be fun to reminisce about those early work experiences. You know, the good, the bad, and the embarrassing.
Definitely. Yeah, it can give you some insights into the person's work ethic and their career path.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to family and friends. How about this question? Do you have any siblings?
Oh, that's a classic. It's a great way to learn about someone's family dynamics.
Yeah, you can talk about whether you're close to your siblings, any funny childhood memories, or maybe even some sibling rivalries.
Right, because even if you don't have siblings yourself, you probably know someone who does.
Exactly. It's a relatable topic. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about weather and seasons. How about this question? What's your favorite season and why?
I like that one. It's personal, but not too personal.
Yeah. It's a good way to get to know someone's preferences and maybe even learn a little bit about their personality.
Right, like if someone says they love the fall because of the crisp air and the changing leaves,
Yeah.
you get a sense of their appreciation for nature and beauty.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to technology and social media. How about this question? What's your favorite app on your phone?
Oh, that's a good one in today's world. Everyone's glued to their phones.
I know, right? And it's interesting to see what apps people use the most, you know, whether it's for social media, entertainment, productivity, or something else entirely.
And it can spark some interesting conversations about the role of technology in our lives.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears again and talk about goals and dreams. How about this question? If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
That's a classic travel question. It
Yeah.
really gets people thinking.
It does. And it can reveal a lot about someone's interests and aspirations, you know, whether they're drawn to adventure relaxation culture or something else.
Right. And it could be fun to brainstorm travel plans together, you know, even if it's just a fantasy trip.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to personal preferences. How about this question? Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, that's a good one. It seems like everyone has a preference.
They do. And it can affect your whole day, you know, your energy levels, your productivity, even your mood.
And it can explain why some people are so cheerful in the morning while others are grumpy until they've had their coffee.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about daily life. How about this question? What's your favorite way to relax?
Oh, that's an important one in today's busy world.
It is. We all need to find ways to unwind and de-stress.
And there's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah.
You know, some people like to read, others like to exercise, others like to spend time with loved ones.
Right. It's all about finding what works for you. Okay, let's go back to travel and culture. How about this question? What's the most interesting culture you've ever encountered?
Oh, I like that one. It goes beyond just listing places you've traveled to.
Yeah, it's about those cultural experiences that really stick with you.
Yeah.
You know, the customs, the traditions, the food, the people.
Right. Because traveling isn't just about seeing new places, it's about learning and growing as a person.
Absolutely. Okay, let's dive into technology and gadgets. How about this question? What's the one gadget you can't live without?
Ooh, that's a tough one for a tech lover.
It is. We're so reliant on our gadgets these days.
Right. And it's interesting to see what people consider essential. You know, whether it's their smartphone, their laptop, their headphones, or something else.
Yeah, it can tell you a lot about someone's priorities in their lifestyle. Okay, let's switch to health and fitness. How about this question? What's your favorite way to stay active?
Oh, that's a good one. It's all about finding activities that you enjoy and that fit into your routine.
Yeah, because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to stick with it.
Right. So whether it's running, swimming, dancing, or something else, it's important to find something that you look forward to doing.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to shopping and fashion. How about this question? What's your favorite store to shop at?
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
It can tell you a lot about someone's style and their budget.
Yeah. And it can spark some conversations about fashion trends and personal preferences.
Right, because everyone has their own unique style.
Definitely. Okay, let's explore books and learning. How about this question? What's the last book you read?
Oh, I love talking about books. It's a great way to discover new authors and genres.
Yeah, and it can give you some insights into the person's interests and their worldview.
Right, because books can transport you to different worlds and teach you new things.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about social life. How How about this question? What's your favorite thing to do with friends?
Oh, that's a good one. It's all about those shared experiences that make friendships special.
Yeah. Whether it's going out to eat, watching movies, playing games, or just hanging out and talking, it's important to have those fun activities that you enjoy doing together.
Right, because friendships are all about making memories.
Absolutely. Okay, let's think about future plans. How about this question? What are you most excited about in the next year?
Oh, that's a positive one. It gets people thinking about the future with hope and anticipation.
Yeah. It could be anything from a vacation to a new job to a personal milestone.
Right. It's a good way to end on a high note.
Definitely. Okay, let's wrap things up with a few miscellaneous questions. How about this one? If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, that's a fun one. It sparks the imagination.
Yeah, and it can reveal a lot about someone's personality. You know, whether they'd want to fly, be invisible, or have super strength.
Right. It's a good way to lighten the mood and have a laugh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So those are just a few examples of the many English conversation questions that you can use to practice your speaking skills.
Yeah, and we've only scratched the surface of the 100+ questions that we found.
Right. But we hope this gives you a good starting point.
And remember, the most important thing is to relax, have fun, and keep practicing.
Exactly. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
And now it's time for our final category, which is all about gratitude. I'm really looking forward to this one because I think it's so important to focus on the positive things in life.
Yeah, I agree. Gratitude can really make a difference.
So let's dive in.
I love that. Yeah, gratitude, it's like a secret weapon for happiness.
It really is. And it's something we can all practice no matter what level our English is at.
Exactly. So let's talk about some questions that can help us tap into that gratitude.
Okay, sounds good.
How about this one? What's one thing you're grateful for today?
Oh, I like that. It's simple, but powerful.
Right. It makes you stop and think about the good things in your life. Even on a crazy day, there's always something to be thankful for.
Yeah, even if it's just a good cup of coffee or a sunny day.
Exactly. Those little things can make a big difference.
So besides thinking about what we're grateful for, are there any other ways to practice gratitude?
Well, one of the best ways is to express it to others. You know, tell someone how much you appreciate them.
Oh yeah, like a simple thank you can go a long way.
It really can. It makes the other person feel good, and it reminds you of the good things in your life.
It's a win-win.
And you know what? Expressing gratitude can actually have some pretty amazing benefits for your health.
Oh wow.
Yeah, studies have shown that people who practice gratitude regularly tend to be happier, healthier, and more resilient.
That's amazing. So gratitude is like a superpower.
I think so. It can transform your life.
So how can our listeners start incorporating more gratitude into their daily lives?
One simple way is to keep a gratitude journal. You know, just take a few minutes each day to write down a few things you're thankful for.
Yeah, I've heard that's a great way to shift your focus to the positive.
It is, and it helps you appreciate the good things even when life gets tough.
Are there any other tips you have?
Well, another thing you can do is make a conscious effort to express your gratitude to others. You know, tell your friends and family how much they mean to you, or write thank you notes to people who have helped you.
Yeah, those are great ideas. I think the key takeaway here is that gratitude is a choice. You know, something we have to actively practice.
Exactly, and the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes.
It's like a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Right. And the amazing thing is that gratitude can have a ripple effect. You know, when you express gratitude to someone, it often inspires them to do the same.
Yeah, it's like spreading kindness and positivity.
Exactly. So gratitude is good for you, it's good for the people around you, and it's good for the world.
Well said, Sarah. I think we've covered a lot of ground today, from introductions to gratitude.
Yeah, we have. And I hope our listeners feel inspired to start practicing their English conversation skills.
Me too. Remember, everyone, the more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how you learn.
Yeah, and the most important thing is to have fun with it.
Exactly. Because when you're enjoying yourself, you're more likely to learn and remember.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights.
It was my pleasure, Mike.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for tuning in to the Learn English Lab. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more deep dives into the world of English language learning. Until next time, happy learning.